Rain hammered against the old diner's neon windows, the kind of night when thunder rolled like a warning from above. Inside, the smell of burnt coffee and fried bacon lingered in the air. It was close to midnight, and only a few regulars sat scattered in the corner booths. Emily, the waitress, wiped down the counter for what felt like the 100th time that night. Her hands were trembling slightly, though she tried to hide it. At 26, she was used to long nights and rude customers, but tonight felt heavier somehow. Bills were piling up. Her mother's medical treatment was overdue. And her car, her only way to work, had broken down again that morning. Still, she smiled through it all. That's what her mom had always taught her, even when life spits on you, smile back, because kindness scares the cruel. The bell over the door jingled, breaking her thoughts. 3 men stepped in, soaked from the rain, their boots thudding hard on the tiled floor. They looked like trouble from the start, greasy hair, tattoos crawling up their necks, and eyes that carried no good intentions. Emily straightened her apron. "Good evening, folks. Booth or counter?" One of them, broad-shouldered, with a leather jacket that had seen better days, grinned. "Right here's fine, sweetheart." He slapped the counter and leaned closer, his breath thick with alcohol. Emily nodded politely and grabbed 3 menus. But before she could set them down, another one snatched her wrist. "Forget the menu," he said with a smirk. "We came for you." Her heart pounded. She pulled her hand back quickly. "Sir, please don't do that. I'm just trying to work." The third thug chuckled. "Oh, relax, honey. We're just having fun." The diner had grown silent. The old man in the corner buried himself deeper behind his newspaper. A young couple by the window lowered their heads, pretending not to see. Emily felt the sting of isolation, how fear made good people turn invisible. She forced a shaky smile. "If you don't want to order, I'll just..." The man in the leather jacket cut her off by knocking over his cup of water, the liquid splashing across the counter and onto her apron. "Oops," he said, laughing. "Now you gotta clean me up, sweetheart." Emily stepped back, her throat tightening. "Please. Don't do this." The one nearest to her reached out again, tugging at the strap of her apron. "Come on, just a smile. You look prettier when you..." The bell over the door jingled again. The sound was small, but it felt like thunder. 5 men stepped in, bikers. Their black jackets glistened from the rain, heavy boots tracking puddles onto the floor. The one in front was tall, with silver streaks in his beard and calm eyes that carried weight. His vest read, "Iron Brotherhood." Emily froze, caught between fear and relief. The thugs glanced over, their mocking laughter faltering slightly. The lead biker, a man named Cole, scanned the room quietly before his gaze landed on Emily. "Everything all right here, miss?" His voice was steady, but there was steel underneath it. The man in the leather jacket smirked. "Mind your business, old man. We were just talking to the lady." Cole didn't blink. "Doesn't sound like she wants to talk to you." The thug stood up, puffing his chest. "You think you can tell us what to do?" The diner went silent again, except for the rain tapping against the windows. Emily's heart thudded so hard she could hear it in her ears. Cole took one slow step forward. "Son, I don't think." "I know." The biker beside him, Tank, a giant with tattoos covering both arms, cracked his knuckles. "You heard the man." The thugs looked at each other. Maybe they noticed how calm the bikers were. Maybe they saw something in their eyes that screamed, "Don't push it." But instead of backing down, the leader of the thugs shoved Emily's coffee pot off the counter. It shattered on the floor. "That's it," Cole said quietly. Before anyone could move, Tank grabbed the thug by the jacket, twisting his arm behind his back and pressing him against the counter. The other bikers stepped in like shadows, fast, precise, not a single wasted move. Within seconds, all 3 troublemakers were pinned, their faces red with humiliation. Emily gasped, stepping back. Cole turned to her. "You okay, miss?" She nodded, tears welling in her eyes. Why yeah. Thank you. The old man in the corner finally put down his newspaper, whispering, "'Bout time someone stood up to those punks." Cole looked at the thugs. "You're gonna leave now. And if I ever see you bothering anyone again, you'll answer to all of us." The men scrambled out, dripping rain and shame as they disappeared into the night. The diner felt lighter somehow. Emily exhaled, trembling. I don't know how to thank you." Cole gave a faint smile. "No thanks needed. We just don't like bullies." Tank chuckled. "You got any pie left, sweetheart? Heard this place makes the best apple pie in town." Emily laughed through her tears. "Yeah. Fresh out of the oven, actually." She hurried behind the counter, her hands still shaking, and plated up 5 slices of pie. The bikers sat down quietly, the tension fading into warmth. For the first time in hours, Emily felt safe. As she poured coffee, Cole studied her closely. "You handle yourself well. Not many would have stayed calm like that." Emily shrugged, embarrassed. "I didn't feel calm. I was terrified." "That's the point," Cole said softly. "Courage isn't about not being scared. It's about standing your ground even when you are." His words hit deep. Emily bit her lip, holding back tears again, this time, not from fear but from gratitude. For the next hour, the diner filled with quiet laughter. The bikers told stories about the road, about sunsets over deserts, about helping stranded travelers, about brotherhood and second chances. Emily listened, mesmerized. When the rain finally stopped, Cole stood to leave. He placed a folded $100 bill on the counter. "That's too much," she said quickly. He shook his head. "Call it a thank you, for the pie and the courage." As they turned to go, Emily found her voice again. "Wait, who are you guys?" Cole paused at the door, giving her a small grin. "Just men who remember what it's like to be powerless, and swore we'd never let someone else feel that way again." The bell jingled as they left, the night swallowing their silhouettes. Emily stood there for a long while, staring out at the wet road. The neon sign reflected in the puddles like soft firelight. For the first time in years, she didn't feel invisible. The next morning, she arrived at work early. The diner looked the same, the old coffee smell, the cracked tiles, but something inside her had changed. She felt braver. Stronger. When her boss came in and saw the broken coffee pot, she expected him to yell. Instead, she told him everything. Every word. Every threat. Every act of courage she witnessed that night. He listened quietly, then nodded. "You did good, Emily. Real good." A few days later, a small box arrived at the diner. Inside was a new coffee pot, shinier and better than the last one. No note, just a small iron brotherhood patch tucked beneath it. Emily smiled. She kept that patch in her apron pocket from then on, a reminder that even in a world full of cruelty, there were still protectors, still light in the darkest corners. And every time the diner bell rang, she'd glance up, half expecting those bikers to walk in again. They never did. But deep down, she knew they didn't have to, because the strength they gave her that night stayed forever. Sometimes heroes don't wear capes. Sometimes they wear leather and ride into the storm, and sometimes, just sometimes, they walk into a diner at midnight and remind the world that kindness, courage, and justice still exist.